Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Spiritualist Desert Church Sunday service. It's so good to see everybody here this morning. If you're joining us via Zoom, please remember that you are muted and we are recording this service for posting on our YouTube channel. If you're viewing us on YouTube and would like to join us live in the future, please send us an email request for an invitation. We want to welcome everybody joining us physically on Zoom, all those later on YouTube, and especially everyone from the spiritual side of life who is joining in our fellowship this morning. My name is Jen Rawson, and I'll be your chairperson for today. I'm a board member of Spiritualist Desert Church, co-chair of the pastoral committee, and I am an NSAC ordained minister. Joining us today will be the Reverend Paula Mellino, who's going to be delivering our sermon. Louise Barkdale will be leading us in a healing meditation, and Paula and Louise will be doing spirit readings during the message portion of our service. Alice Robertson is serving as our Zoom moderator for this morning's service. And if you would please all join me now, and we'll open our service with an invocation. Let us pray. Infinite intelligence, we give thanks for this day and the opportunity to assemble with like-minded people. We join together today to share in the wisdom of the universe, welcoming the guidance and blessings from our speaker and the messages received from Spirit. May divine truths be revealed for our understanding and growth. Amen. Spiritualist Desert Church is a chartered member of the National Spiritualist Association of Churches, which is headquartered in Lilydale, New York. And our NSAC manual, Spiritualist Manual, provides us with the definitions of our religion. I would like to share these definitions of spiritualism and of being a spiritualist with you now. Spiritualism is the science, philosophy, and religion of continuous life based upon the demonstrated fact of communication by means of mediumship with those who live in the spirit world. Spiritualism is a science because it investigates, analyzes, and classifies facts and manifestations demonstrated from the spirit side of life. Spiritualism is a philosophy because it studies the laws of nature, both on the seen and unseen sides of life, and bases its conclusions upon present observed facts. It accepts statements of observed facts of past ages and conclusions drawn therefrom when sustained by reason and by results of observed facts of the present day. Spiritualism is a religion because it strives to understand and to comply with the physical, mental, and spiritual laws of nature, which are the laws of God. A spiritualist is one who believes as the basis of his or her religion in the communication between this and the spirit world by means of mediumship, and who endeavors to mold his or her character and conduct in accordance with the highest teaching derived from such communication. As spiritualists, we have no dogmas or creeds, but we do have 9 principles that we strive to live by. Please join me now in declaring these principles. We believe in infinite intelligence. We believe that the phenomena of nature, both physical and spiritual, are the expression of infinite intelligence. We affirm that a correct understanding of such expression and living in accordance therewith constitute true religion. We affirm that the existence and personal identity of the individual continue after the change called death. We affirm that communication with the so-called dead is a fact scientifically proven by the phenomena of spiritualism. We believe that the highest morality is contained in the Golden Rule, Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We affirm the moral responsibility of individuals and that we make our own happiness or unhappiness as we obey or disobey nature's physical and spiritual laws. We affirm that the doorway to reformation is never closed against any soul here or hereafter. We affirm that the precepts of prophecy and healing are divine attributes proven through mediumship. It's now my great pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, the Reverend Paula Mellino. Paula is an ordained minister through our parent organization, the National Spiritualist Association of Churches, and she is a longtime member of Spiritualist Desert Church. Please join me in welcoming our good friend, Paula.
Thank you, Jen. I appreciate that. Hi, everybody. How are you doing today? Oh, to hear myself announced as the Reverend Paula Mellino, this is new territory for me. So let's hope it goes smoothly. We shall see. That it's such an honor to be with you guys here today. I too want to thank those that are here in the physical, those that are going to join us later on YouTube, and of course, those that are here in spirit. And it's really spirit that I want to talk to you today about. I want to talk to you about love and growth and spirit and our 8th principle, the doorway to reformation is never closed. This actually for a while, I'm going to be honest with you, Reverend Vicky has been asking me for a very long time to write down a story about a time that I was stuck in an elevator. And I finally was inspired by spirit. Actually, now's the time to sit down and write this story. And so I did that, and I wrote out this story. And it really brought home to me many things about myself as a person, about who I was and who I've become. And I want to share that story with you, not only because it's a phenomenal story, you're going to love this story, but also because the growth that I experienced just in telling that story and writing it down made a world of difference to me and opened up all of these amazing areas where I could see so much more clearly. And of course, hindsight is 2020, but I think as spiritualists, what we need to do is right in this moment, be open to spirit, to know spirit within ourselves, because we are spirit. I often think of spiritualism as in threes. Spiritualism is a philosophy, a religion, and a science. As spiritualists, we understand that we have the body, the soul, and the spirit, and we are spirit first. And as spiritualists, we also believe that we're here for 3 reasons. 1, to learn, 2, to grow, and 3, to be of service. And I always think of those things. And if I really want to get technical, we have 9 principles, and those 9 principles is a division of 3. But within those things, we are just so blessed. And the more that we understand spirit within us, recognizing ourselves as spiritual beings, that is going to help us grow and learn and be of service to others. Before I start this story, I want each of you to think of, I'm going to give you just a little bit of time. That's the teacher in me. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to think. But I want you to think of 5 things that you love the most right now. Make a list in your head. 5 things you love the most. Everybody have those 5 things? Probably wasn't too hard. Now, I want you to hold on to those 5 things and keep them in your mind, and I'm going to come back to them. Okay? So this story, It's 2005. That's kind of important to understand. So I was 34 years old, and I had gone to a new doctor, and my boyfriend at the time was taking me to the doctor, and we were arguing, and I was always arguing all the time, arguing and fighting, and there was much tension, not just within that relationship, but just who I was as a person. I would instantly be like, oh, let me tell you what's going on. Okay. Then he drops me off and he says, call me in a couple hours when you're ready. And I said, when I'm ready. Couple hours, I manifest my time, thank you, and slammed the door, went straight into the building, and the elevator doors were wide open. And I was like, see, the elevator's just waiting for me. I had no idea how true that statement was. So I walked straight into this elevator. I pushed the buttons, the doors closed, and nothing happens. I'm going nowhere. So I pushed the buttons to get out of the elevator. Like, okay, this isn't moving. Let me get out. When it opened the doors, I'm just stuck in this elevator. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, my first instinct is to call my significant other and ask him to come back and help. He just dropped me off. So I get on the phone and I call him and he says, honey, you're in an office building. Eventually somebody will come and help you. I have the phone out here and I'm screaming into it, literally, like, that's right, eventually, somebody will come and help me. And I slam my phone shut, flip phone, 2005. So I'm in the elevator, like, okay, I'm not one to call emergency when there's not an emergency, but I'm stuck in the elevator and I need somebody to come and help me. So I look at the elevator phone, it says, do not use unless it's an emergency. So I pick it up. And I kid you not, what I hear on the other end is this. Wah, 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 wah. Just like a Charlie Brown parent or adult. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm stuck in an elevator, but I can't hear you. Can you please come and help me? And the voice says, wah, 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 wah. I'm like, okay, I can't hear you. I can't understand you. Hopefully you can understand me and please send help. And I hang up. And then it occurs to me that, oh, I'm going to a doctor to see a doctor here in this office. Let me call them. So I call them and I say, hey, this is Paula Mellino and I'm stuck in the elevator in your building. Can you please send help? And she goes, if you're not here in 20 minutes, we're canceling your appointment. Did you hear me? I'm stuck in the elevator in your building. If you're not here in 20 minutes, we're canceling your appointment. And she hangs up on me. I'm like, okay, this is going really well. So then I decide to try the elevator phone again. I pick up the elevator phone and luckily there's a gentleman on the other end that I understand. And I say, oh, thank goodness. I was like, I'm stuck in the elevator. I need help. And he says, okay, well, sit tight. I'll call you back when I have some news. So I'm sitting there in my phone, playing Snake on my phone, and the phone rings again, and I pick it up, and the gentleman says, okay, I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is that we do have somebody who can help you. The bad news is we don't know when they'll be there. I said, oh, 20 minutes, 20 hours, 20 days. He's like, yeah, I don't know, but we'll get back to you. And he hangs up. So I sit there another 5 minutes or so. It wasn't really long total at all. I still made my 3 o'clock appointment, FYI. But I wasn't in there very long. And then the phone rings. I go to touch the phone and I have goosebumps that cover my entire body. Literally every hair on my skin is standing straight up, goosebumps. And I pick up the phone. And the most beautiful voice I have ever heard in my entire life, and still to this day have ever heard, says, open the elevator doors. And I said, I've tried opening the elevator doors. Nothing happened. Open the doors now. So I push the open door button. The doors swing open. There's nobody outside, nobody anywhere around me. And I go to say thank you on the phone, and the phone is dead. I'm like, okay. Not thinking there's anything wrong here, not really like chiming into my thoughts or taking stock of is the spirit talking to me or not. But I'm like, okay, now it's time for my appointment. So I get out of the elevator, I go upstairs, I walk into this new doctor's office, and it is the filthiest place I've ever seen in my life. And I've been to third world countries. Like, this was disgusting to me. And I still checked in and sat down. How many things have to go off in my head for me to say, this is not where you belong? So then this doctor, I see the doctor go past the door, and he looks like a 90-year-old Elvis. He has a silver pompadour. He has big, giant, square glasses. He has rings on every finger. And I'm like, what is happening? And yet I still sat there. Then my phone rings, and the caller ID comes up with all zeros. All zeros. And I promise you, this story is 100% real. I have not embellished any portion of this. So I open it up and I answer the phone, and I'm like, hello? And a lady on the other end says, 911, what is your emergency, please? And I'm sorry, I did not call 911. She goes, yes, ma'am. Somebody at this number called 911. And I said, I've been alone in an elevator by myself for 20 minutes. I'm certain nobody called 911. And she rang off a number. She listed off a number to me. And I said, yes, that's my home number. I forwarded my home number to this number, but nobody's there either. She goes, okay, I'm sending the police to your house right now. Finally, that was enough for me to clue in that this is not where I belong. You know, it just took an elevator, spirit letting me out of the elevator, a dirty place, a Elvis doctor that looked like he was 90, and now 911 being called from my phone. I call my boyfriend. He comes and gets me. We go to the house, and the police are like, there's nothing here. Literally nothing here. Like, there's no trace of anybody. Nobody's broken in, nothing. So why am I telling you this story? Well, many reasons. Number one, my physical house called 911 to help me before my boyfriend would turn around and come back and get me. And I still stayed in a relationship with this gentleman. Actually ended up marrying him. So we as people accept the love we think we deserve. I was in this relationship. I'm an accomplished woman. I now have 5 degrees. I have gone through this program. I am a reverend, but I make mistakes in my life. I don't listen to spirit. And that story was exactly about those things. Spirit was sending me messages every step of the way through that entire process. And I was not listening. I was not listening. Now, I haven't told you the best part of this story. Let me go back to the story real quick, because I'm kind of leaving a little important piece out. I went to another doctor, and that doctor found a very, very tiny lump in my breast, smaller than a pea. It turns out that that was benign, but we had the operation anyway to have it removed. And it turns out that even though it was a benign tumor, it wasn't in my breast. It was in my chest wall. And it was the size of a small cantaloupe growing inside my chest cavity. At some point, that would have caused tremendous problems later. It could have become cancerous. It could have pushed into my lungs and done all of these different things. If I had not gone to a different doctor, who is to know that that 90-year-old Elvis was going to find that little tiny lump that was smaller than a pea? Saved my life. 100% saved my life. And I will tell you right now that spirit was on the other end of that phone and let me out of that elevator. Spirit called 911. Spirit was sending me message after message after message saying, this is not where you belong. And I had to wake up to that. I had to, I don't even know that I did wake up to that. I think that there were so many, and it's now that I reflect back on that story. When I set to write that story, I could 100% feel the anger that I felt in that elevator when I was speaking with my significant other. And I thought to myself, wow, that feels horrible. That anger, that rage inside of me felt so foreign to me now, and so sad, really sad. And if Reverend Vicky hadn't asked me to write that story down, I wouldn't be able to look at where I am now and to see that growth that I have gone through. Our 8th principle says the doorway to reformation is never closed. In the Children's Lyceum, we say tomorrow's a new day. And every day we have to grow in that. Every day we have to move forward and understand that. But it's important to reflect on that growth. It's important because I don't think I really would have realized how angry I was if I didn't look back at that moment and feel that actual anger. And here's another sad thing. That was the improved me. At 32, or 34, I was much happier and much calmer and at peace than I was when I was younger. I don't journal very well, but I'm definitely going to start now because, and this is key to all of us, not just in our personal life, but when we're working on connecting with spirit. And the thing that I said earlier, we accept the love that we think we deserve. Let that resonate in you. We accept the love we think we deserve. Now I'm going to ask you to go back to the 5 things that you said you loved the most. Did anyone put down yourself in those 5 things? Yay, Vicky. I'm only looking at 4 screens, so if somebody else is saying yes, I did. Those of you that didn't, I want to ask you, how long before you did put yourself down? Would it be 10 things? Would it be 15? And how many of you put down that you love infinite intelligence or you love spirit? The thing I want you to remember always is that we are spirit first. We have infinite intelligence within us. If you love infinite intelligence, you have to love yourself. But it's that growth process that we have to get to. It is that moving through doubt and shame and fear, all of the lower vibration, to understand that we are love. We exude love. The Reverend Stacy Kopczynski did an amazing sermon last week. It was beautiful, and it was about love. And I was like, oh, I'm going to talk about love. And the Reverend Jennifer Rawson said to me, love's a big topic, Paula. You can talk about it too. And I was like, that's true. We can. There's many different facets of love. So the purpose of what we're talking about today is understanding that we are spirit first. And what does that really mean? Of tuning in to that voice inside of you, tuning into spirit and listening every day, being aware of it, being aware of those little messages like you should stop here. Okay, let me do that. You should not be here. You should probably, why don't you go and buy some milk today? Whatever it is, and you think that's not spirit. But we do not have, we're living this human existence, and very few of us are 100% connected to our higher selves, where we can see the importance of going to buy milk right now. There's chain of events that happen. There's things that are in place that are not for us to question, but we do it all the time. Reverend Vicky, one of her favorite things to say about me is that I invoke free will all the time. More than anybody, she says. And Reverend Vicky knows a lot of people, but I would choose free will. that's nice, but I'm going to go do this thing over here because I want this. But what we need to do is understand ourselves and love ourselves. Because when we love ourselves, we love spirit. I saw something on the internet the other day about a way to, when we have negative thoughts about ourselves, when we beat ourselves up, when we are down on ourselves, and we're chastising ourselves and we're having that negative conversation in our head, right? And some of us even out loud have that negative conversation with ourselves. That they want you to picture yourself as a 7-year-old. Picture 7-year-old you. Would you call 7-year-old you stupid? If you had a 7-year-old in front of you, would you say you're stupid? Would you say, oh, I made a mistake and I'm never coming back from this? Would you say that that's it, you're done, like you can't recover from any of these things? Of course not. You would be loving, you would be kind, you would be nurturing. We need to be loving, kind, and nurturing to ourselves. We need to reflect on our growth. We need to do that in writing, because when we do that and we look back, there's things that we're going to forget. We're not even going to understand the process of our growth. How quickly did it happen? How many little steps were there in between? All of those things are so important to recognize our growth, because when we recognize our growth, it's one of our things, right? Learning, growing, and being of service. When we love ourselves, we want to when we love ourselves, it's because we love God and we recognize God within us. When we've recognized God within us, we can do nothing but help other people. It just goes hand in hand. 100%. When you love yourself and love God, the next thing you want to do is help others. And then that is our philosophy in our religion. That actually is spiritualism. That actually is love and understanding. So, number one, I encourage you to put yourself on that list in your top 5. If you haven't already, include spirit, infinite intelligence, include yourself in that. I challenge you to start journaling if you are not already journaling. One of my gifts that I received as a Reverend was this beautiful journal, and I have written in it almost every day since. So I'm going to try to take that challenge on myself. And then I'm also going to challenge you to work on your growth. Work on becoming better every day. We're not always going to make it, but if you wake up with that goal, I'm going to be better today than I was yesterday, then we can see what we can do and move forward and show acceptance and love, not only to ourselves, but to others. God bless.
Thank you so much, Paula. A lot to think about. Thank you. This is the time we set aside in our service for our love offering and for our announcements. If you would please join me first in an offertory prayer. Infinite intelligence, we give thanks for these gifts that are so generously given. Without these gifts, our church could not grow. We ask a blessing on the offering shared with us today, and we dedicate these gifts to the future of this church and to spiritualism. Amen. We continue to accept love donations by cash or check to the address that's on your screen currently. In addition, we have PayPal available through our website or through the link displayed on your screen. Thank you very, very much for your continued support of Spiritualist Desert Church. Our physical building is still currently closed due to the ongoing pandemic, but our church has remained active. Our board of directors and the pastoral committee are available if you have any need of assistance, of food assistance, if you need someone to talk to, if you have questions about spiritualism, or if you're interested in membership. please reach out to us via any of the methods listed on the screen. If you receive our weekly newsletter, there's also contact information on the third page. And if you'd like to be added to our email list, you can also let us know that. Our previous Zoom services are all posted on YouTube. You can find us there. And our newsletters previously are all posted on our website. You can find those on there. And we're now going to move into the healing portion of our service. We'd like to invite you to join us in a healing meditation. Please join me now in the prayer for spiritualist healing. I ask the great unseen healing force to remove all obstructions from my mind and body and to restore me to perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity and honesty, and I will do my part. I ask this great unseen healing force to help both present and absent ones who are in need of help and to restore them to perfect health. I put my trust in the love and power of God. Amen. And now Louise will lead our guided meditation.
Hello, everyone. Welcome on this beautiful day. For the next few minutes, we're just going to focus on ourselves. We're going to let the cares and worries of the day and of this physical connection, we're just going to let those worries just drop away. And we're going to connect with spirit, with our doctors, our chemists, and our healers. And we're going to take care of ourselves so that, again, in turn and in time, we may be of service to others as well. So begin by seating yourselves comfortably, feet on the floor if possible, and just focus on your breath, on your breathing. Inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth, deeply filling your lungs. Breathing in the positive, exhaling the negative. Raising our vibration so that we can truly connect with spirit, tapping into that healing energy available to all of us. Beginning at the top of your head, again, just sloughing off the negativity of this physical world. Consciously moving down your body, down your neck, down your shoulders, just relaxing that physical body. Relaxing down your arms, all the way to your fingertips. And then again at your shoulders, working down the trunk of your body. With every time you exhale, you're able just to let your body go a little bit looser. Let those muscles relax. Continuing to move down the trunk of your body, over your hips. Just letting your cares just melt away. Down your thighs. Again, loosening your muscles a little bit more every time you exhale. Down over your knees and shins. and finally to your feet. And now just holding that beautiful, wonderful, loose, relaxed state. And now from your feet, does not matter what's underneath your feet. Feel the connection with Mother Earth. And allow the strength and the power and the renewal and the power of growth from the earth. Allow those positive energies to come back up through your body, up into your feet, up over your shins, up over your knees. And think about how in the springtime, those little sprouts come up from the earth, green, fresh, new, healthy. And allow that type of energy to come up through your body, continuing up over your thighs, over your hips, and back up through the trunk of your body. Just allow it to slowly continue to move up. Feeling yourself, all the cells in your body renewed, recharged. Up over your shoulders, down your arms, down to your fingertips, back up your neck, back up over your head, and at the top of your head, opening that where you can see that crown chakra open and connecting up into spirit and all that healing energy. A clear conduit connecting with that healing energy. Feeling cleansed, feeling whole, happy, healthy, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And with this freshness, let's begin our return. Gently focusing on our breathing again. Breathing in fully. Exhaling fully. Bringing ourselves back to this moment, this space with each other. Again, gently, eyes fully open when you can. Flexing your fingers, wiggling your toes. Back with one another. God bless.
Thank you very much, Louise. We continue to maintain our healing list, and we send out absent healing prayers on a daily basis. If you have someone you wish to add to our healing list, please send us an email request with first name only, please. And also remember to include your pets. We now are going to move into the message portion of our service. By definition, a medium is one whose organism is sensitive to vibrations from the spirit world and through whose intelligences in that world are able to convey messages and produce the phenomena of spiritualism. A medium proves the continuity of life through evidence provided by spirit. Please understand that all mediums are psychic, but not all psychics are mediums. A psychic reads your energy or your aura. A medium brings through someone who has lived here on the earth plane. It's also important to remember that a medium is not a medical doctor and therefore cannot and will not diagnose or prescribe. As we draw our service to a close, we'd like to invite you to stay on afterwards, and Alice will unmute everybody's microphones and we can have a virtual fellowship, and it kind of gives us an opportunity to say hi to everybody. Right now, I'd like to ask the Reverend Paula Mellino to please close with our benediction.
Thank you, everybody. Let's take a deep breath in. Infinite intelligence, please stay with each of us this week. Allow us to feel spirit within us and close to us. Allow us to understand that we are part of something bigger and grand, and that we at any time can ask for help and guidance. Please keep everyone safe and well. Amen.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Remember to keep all of our frontline workers in your prayers and meditations while they're trying to keep us safe from this ongoing pandemic. And please remain on Zoom for our virtual fellowship. Have a good week, everybody. See you next week.